In this episode, Admiral Aldente Pomo from Gastroterra comes to Booth 42 looking for allies in their struggle against the barbarous culinarians.
It turns out that the taste of Gastroterra is a horrific, twisted game in which the Gastroterrans are hunted and eaten, and not the delightful cultural food festival that it sounds like it would be.
So roll up your towel into a pillow, lean back, and
prepare to learn about reptilians, sandwich-topians, and whether I will honor my vow not to eat guests no matter how delicious they look, even when they're covered in poison.
Shut up and sit down.
welcome back to Hitchhikers and Appetizers, coming to you from Booth 42 at Millyways. I am, as always, Trellis Gardeen, and with me in the booth today, I know you love him. We get occasional messages over the sub-ether asking questions. I immediately delete them because I'm a jealous person, and I don't want you getting questions asked of you that should be getting asked of me. But here he is, Horatio Zinn.
Yes, hello. Now, I did notice that you said here with you today.
Yes.
And not as usual, not for all time, not you just said today. So I'm wondering if there's some surprise coming at the end, like I get flushed out the garbage chute or given a gold watch or both of them.
Someday I plan on taking over. When you push me too far, out you go.
Although, keep in mind, physically, I can push you out of the booth because I'll just keep eating and I expand.
I don't think you have to put the effort to push me. It's just your continued growth.
I like to think of it as an encroachment. A bit like on a planet, as you see, like as one residents of one continent just expand across the planet and take over. It's a bit like that here in the booth with my girth.
That seems a bit grand.
Oh, no, I'm not going to follow through with it. Again, I just want to clarify that people say that Schenectady is about bad planning. It's not that we don't plan things at all. It's just we're just terrible at planning. Terrible. And follow through.
Like execution.
Yes. Oh, the planning sessions can be quite enjoyable.
It's always the brainstorming. The brainstorming part is the fun part.
Oh, yes.
The execution part is not fun at all.
Although due to bad planning, there was a time I went to a planning meeting, and we were having a wonderful time, just brainstorming ideas, just flying everywhere. Several of us realized we were in the wrong meeting, just for a totally different project. Well, actually, what it was we thought what we were doing was working on a party, putting together this lovely little kind of party, debutante ball kind of thing. And in the end, we wind up accidentally developing a space program.
Oh.
So that's how things happen. We did not mean to. We were trying to...
Are all of the inventions on Schenectady made by pure accident?
Most of them. The good ones, anyway. The good ones, yes.
Well, you know what's not an accident?
I would say us having a guest today. I think it's very intentional.
Not an accident at all. An intentional visit, if you will, to Booth 42 today.
Oh, a delicious guest.
I will let our guest introduce themselves to you.
Oh.
And where are you from?
Hello, I am Aldente Pomo.
Oh, I love your accent.
Aldente Pomo.
Yes, I am a pastronaut from Gastroterra, an explorer, diplomat, an admiral of the Gastronian resistance.
An admirable admiral.
Oh.
I think I am. I am fighting for the survival of my people. I am here specifically because I am looking for allies in our fight, and I need to get my message out. Our planet is a very specific planet. We are all of the sentient species on our planet are prepared food dishes.
Oh, I want to be friends with all of you.
Well, we need friends. We need friends and allies, so I would welcome that, I think. I myself am a pastavarian.
I just want to say you look very impressive and delicious.
Oh, well.
I'm not sure Horatio is the kind of ally you want. Although, they say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. With Horatio's, I'm just going to say right here, insatiable appetite.
Insatiable, yes, very good.
I am not for eating, sir.
Exactly, that's what I was getting to.
Oh. Although I just had this moment, I just want to get this out of the way. The elephant in the room here is if you and I were on a desert island, and there was nothing else around, I would not have to visualize you as food. It would not be like just looking at another being and they suddenly become a turkey or something. I look over, I think, am I hallucinating? Or no, this is what he looked like yesterday when we were on the ship before it sank.
Well, I appreciate your honesty.
I just had to say that. Get that out there.
Now you mentioned you're looking for allies.
That's correct.
What's currently going on Gastroterra that you needed to get the message out?
Oh yes.
Well, as I was saying, all of the sentient species on our planet are essentially what you would think of as prepared food dishes.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Solidians, the students, the Brothlings, the Crumbians, the Pyterians, the Bagaloids. We are all appear to creatures from other planets as prepared food dishes, but we are sentient beings with feelings and hopes and dreams. And there's actually no natural predators on our planet.
Oh, fascinating.
On an annual basis, there's a festival. It's called the Taste of Gastroterra. And it is a...
Oh, lovely.
No, it is a horrific thing.
Oh.
Every year, invaders come to our planet, and they set up they set up booths, food trucks, food tents. They hunt and kill and eat us. It's terrifying.
But is that really just kind of a natural selection, thinning of the herd type of thing? I mean, because you said you have no natural predators on the planet, so I would imagine the whole planet is just overrun delicious, tasty, prepared meals. Because, a lot of people don't have time to cook.
Yeah.
A lot of these species that are coming to visit you may not have time to spend in the kitchen.
No.
Most beings do. And this is just, this is saving them time.
My life is not the convenience for someone else. The life of my children, my wife, my parents. These are not trifles just to be wasted so that some other species can't prepare their own meals.
I have a question, and I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but
well,
I want to know where the ingredients come from.
There are no animals, as you would think of, on our planet, but there's plenty of ingredients. We have plants and fungi and mosses and things of that nature. We are not conventionally birthed. We are assembled and prepared by our parents and become their children.
Fascinating. I was wondering if there's some kind of guidebook or...
Like the great book.
Yes, like on other planets it might be a Kama Sutra, a sex guide or something like that, but on your planet it'd be a recipe book.
There is actually a very old recipe book. Occasionally someone proposes a new recipe and it has to be approved by the elders for that particular genus of creatures. We are a very healthy and diverse family tree of prepared dishes.
Oh, lovely.
There's ever any crossbreeding, so fusion dishes, and boom, you've got an entirely new dish.
It does happen occasionally. I mean, I myself am the child of a mixed marriage.
Oh, what were your parents?
Yes. Well, my mother was a eggplant lasagna.
Oh, that sounds really good.
And my father was a Pizzerian Supreme.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
My father loved my mother so much that he agreed to allow me to be prepared and raised as a Pastavarian, just like my mother.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. Love conquers all sometimes. Sometimes love conquers whole planets and enslaves them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole other episode.
Not sure I want to hear about that episode.
It might become this episode. Who knows? If Horatio gets hungry, you could. There's always a first casualty in every war. I hope it's not you, Aldente.
Again, I just wanted to say how delicious you look. I mean, describe the noodles, the sauce, the whole thing. It's just I'm salivating.
Aldente, do you want to come to my side of the booth here just for safety purposes?
I would like to. I would like to scoot a little closer to you, if you don't mind.
Come on over here. Yeah. I'll be the buffer. Horatio's never eaten a guest. Let's just put it that way. So, the odds are good, but they're never zero.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just going to gnaw on these unsatisfying breadsticks for a bit here.
They're unlimited, Horatio. Just remember that they're unlimited, and you do have an entire mountain of firecracker shrimp there to work on.
No, that's true, but it doesn't have noodles. It doesn't have noodles and sauce on it.
No, I just want to make it clear that I am not helpless.
Oh,
I am an admiral
Oh,
in the Gastroterra Resistance. I have fought back many Epicureans.
tell us about the Epicureans.
Oh yes, they're from a barbarous society, a planet in a neighboring solar system called Culinaria.
oh.
And they were the ones who began the annual culling, as you would call it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You know, they come in and they hunt us down and put us in little boxes and pass us out to tourists that they also sort of bring in every year.
Oh,
It is horrific. It is a slaughterhouse on a global scale.
It seems to me like there should probably be some entertainment. Did they bring entertainment? Because this seems like it would be such a horrific experience. It could be added onto with a reunion of purity, in my opinion. Why not have the universe's worst band playing at the worst massacre?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be perfect. We did play at some wonderful massacres, though, I have to say. It sounds to me like, Trellis, though, there's already a show involved. This is dinner and a show. A battle thing. It's a bit like going to taking a lunch at one of those historical diorama things.
Aldente, they're not like hunting you down for fun, are they? Or is it just literally just because they're hungry? Are they making it a spectacle?
Of course, they have hunters, trained hunters, of course, but they also bring in rich tourists who join them on the hunt.
Oh.
Typically, they corral us into pens. They tie us down and let the tourists finish us off. It's with a giant fork.
So the tourists aren't even really. That's so lame. They're taking you down, probably running you ragged, and then they just come in with the fork at the end to finish you off. That's
Pretty much.
not even giving you a chance.
Pretty much.
That's terrible. I'd like to give my food a chance. It's only right.
Yeah, it cannot be said that Horatio doesn't at least eat fairly.
Yes. I talk to my food. I let it know what's going to happen. Let it know it's going to have a nice... After being masticated, it will have a nice warm place to rest for a while.
Let me be clear. We only appear to be the same as prepared dishes. You know, I don't believe that the meals that are being served in this cafe are sentient.
Most of them are.
And I hope that you are not eating sentient meals.
Except for there's the entree of the day, meat of the day, the beast of the day, that it is sentient.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
It's a whole complicated
It's
thing.
an animal.
Yes.
It
yes,
wants
it's
you
an
to eat
animal.
it.
Oh, I don't care if you eat animals. Go right ahead eating animals.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I was wondering, in this, the culling and the hunt, what would you say is the most dangerous game? Would it be a burrito, a burger of some sort, a pasta dish, perhaps? You seem like a very, very tough, resilient.
What puts up the most fight?
Yes, the most dangerous game.
Let me think about that. I mean, there's certainly several that are, you know, they don't put up much of a fight at all. The brothlings, they're just bubbling in the hot springs, and they're sort of eaten up.
Yeah, just come along with a straw, and that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
A large spoon.
The reptilians are an interesting variety.
Oh, tell about the reptilians.
Yes, the reptilians, they were evolved from the Solidians, the salad people. They found materials to wrap themselves up in to give themselves a protective shell. So some of the reptilians have very tough armor that's built around them, and they're very difficult to stick with a fork. They're not a very aggressive species. They're just very difficult to kill.
Right. But a lot of times, at least in my experience here, the wraps are usually filled, like you said, with like salad and lettuce and things that you just normally, at least us, try to avoid.
Yes.
Here's to you, then.
Thank you.
I go more for the beast than the salad. The salad bar, let's just say the salad bar over there, I that's more just something to look at. It's a bit like an art piece for me. It's not necessarily something you take from. Although I did go diving in a bottomless salad bowl one time, but that's a whole other story.
Oh, well, that was on a bet though. Could he eat his way to the bottom to figure out if it was actually an endless bowl of salad?
I'm still actually pulling lettuce out of my ears.
Now, you did mention you're an admiral in the Gastroterran Resistance.
That's correct.
What sort of weapons have you guys developed? I assume things are going to be coming to a head here with the taste of Gastroterra. And next time it happens, you're going to be ready.
This has been going on for years now. The resistance is older than I am. I've survived 7 tastes so far,
Oh,
and I hope to survive many more. But the resistance, has been evolving over the last few years. It's mostly a stealthy thing. We like to sneak into the tents at night and smother the tourists and the hunters. That's a very popular way. We can't really fight head to head against them, but if we can increase the cost in lives enough each year, that eventually they will give up. But so far, it's only made the festival more popular. The more tourists we kill, it makes it exciting.
oftentimes they'd like a challenge.
That's right.
Also, they keep making more tourists.
Yes.
If you could find a way to keep them from making more tourists.
Are any of your dishes more prone to being choking hazards? And maybe you should put them at the front of the line and get them involved into the mix.
It's hard because we are all essentially vegan dishes, right?
Yes.
And people don't generally choke on vegan dishes.
That's usually because they don't eat them. They just kind of scoff at them.
It's hard to choke on what you won't put in your mouth.
Yes.
That's fair enough. Maybe a good stalk of broccoli or something.
Oh, you could beat someone with that. As long as it hasn't been in cafeteria style, it's not all rubbery and wet. You can beat someone to death with those, but it's just the saddest thing. Because it keeps just falling over, it won't stand straight, you miss them. It's comical in a way, in a sad way.
Have you ever thought about maybe employing a host or a hostess that just lets them know that there's a wait time before they can come onto the planet to have the taste, and then you just never really actually set them at their table?
No, we haven't considered any kind of strategy like that, to be honest.
No, that's inane. That would be stupid, Trellis. I'm just judging by our guest's reaction. I'm trying to support our guest in battling against this stupid suggestion you just made.
Are you suggesting creating a bureaucracy of sorts to delay and frustrate?
Yes, exactly.
So you're suggesting we ourselves should host
Yes.
the taste of Gastroterra?
You want them to host their own destruction, Trellis.
Well, no, it wouldn't be destruction because there'd just be a long line of people waiting for their table, getting frustrated and leaving because you never actually seat them. This is stealthy. I'm going stealth rather than because clearly the frontal assault has not worked at all.
No. It has only made them come in larger numbers.
You got to think outside of the delivery box, if you will.
I'm thinking that if you're going to, you want to dissuade them from coming, of course.
Right.
I would say, I'm just building on something you said before, I think more killing of the hunters, obviously, right away. But also there's a marketing thing. There's a part of me that wants to market this into something fun and call it, instead of the most dangerous buffet or something like that, where you just don't know if you're going to make it to the end where the soft serve ice cream is or something. You just don't know if you're going to make it.
Right.
But then also find more effective ways to kill the invading hunters.
Well, that's always been our approach. We do have some efforts. We have some people infiltrating Culinaria, trying to destroy their society from inside.
Oh,
Nice.
an underground movement.
That's right.
Kind of a resistance kind of thing.
Yes.
That's wonderful. I want to hear more about this. This is covert missions behind enemy lines, things like that.
Well, it's quite easy to hide in plain sight when you're a prepared dish.
Oh, very nice.
Let's be honest. You sneak into restaurants and grocery stores. One time, very recently, we managed to get into the freezer of one of the board members of the taste of Gastroterra.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, and we were able to take him out and his whole family.
Wonderful.
Mainly it's done with poison. We poison ourselves, and then they eat us.
Suicide mission.
Suicide mission, but many are glad to give their lives in this way rather than being hunted down. So,
And I'm sure that later you can find the remains after a suitable period of time.
well,
Process through.
we hope that they die before the processing is done. So,
I would hope so.
unfortunately,
It'd be horrible.
they just become one with the host.
Well, do they though? Because if they poisoned them and they die, that would shut down the digestive process, and then maybe there's a chance for escape. If the poison hits them soon enough, they're not digested. There could be some of your fellow Gastroterrans trapped right now in the dead bodies that they took down.
That's disturbing, Trellis. I'm sure he's grateful to you for bringing that up.
We have honestly not considered that possibility.
Now, how much more neurotic and sad would your culture be if Trellis were there making suggestions like this all the time?
I think our nightmares would be compounded over and over again.
Well, if you need your nightmares compounded, there's no one better than I will offer up his services as his agent for this.
I can spin a nightmare when needed. I'm not expensive.
Also, again, I just have to mention how delicious you look. I don't want to make this uncomfortable, but I just look over in the glistening pot, and it's not like you're sitting there, like, say, a dish under the lights where it starts getting kind of goopy and not looking as appetizing, looking more glazed. No, more delicious. Just look more and more delicious every moment.
I want to make it clear that I do not trust you enough to allow you to put me in your mouth.
Nor should you. What you get in my mouth?
Only one Epicurean once that I allowed for that, that level of trust was built.
Oh, tell us about that. That must be.
Well, Horatio, you don't know if he has poison on him, too.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Most spies, and when they go out, have poison on themselves in case of an emergency.
Whenever I leave the planet, I am covered with poison.
I'm going to scoot back here a bit over into my...
Very lethal neurotoxin.
Should I be sitting this close to you, then?
Not if you don't intend to eat me.
Okay. So it would have to actually go in my mouth in order to kill me, not just proximity.
Correct.
That's good.
Doesn't just touch the skin. I was terrified.
Do you want me to get you a bigger plate? You looked a little cramp on that plate that we've got you on right now. Or a bowl? Would that be more comfortable? Because you look a little uncomfortable.
Sometimes it's nice to be on a bigger plate because then you feel like you've, a little skinnier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Here, let me just flag down the server here. We'll get there. Yes, we need a
warm plate. Ask for a warm plate straight out of the dishwasher.
Platter. Could you get our guest
a platter?
A platter.
You want to be able to roll around a bit if you want.
Give a little lateral movement there. Okay. Yeah. They're on it. We'll get there.
I like it when it's a little wet. With hot water.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't?
It's like the fresh comes out. It's like it's completely clean, warm feeling.
Do that squeaker. Audit the squeaker.
Yes.
Well, the Saladians don't like it.
No, the Saladians don't like the They don't like the squeaker, or they don't like the wet plate.
They do not like hot, wet plates. They want to be on a cold, dry plate.
Oh.
They like to stay crunchy.
Oh, that makes sense. Yes, I could see how they would.
Crisp.
Oh, yes. Well, they're best that way.
Unlike you, Horatio, who's soft.
I like to stay soft and warm.
You just look delicious. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm gonna scoot back in my clothes.
Right. Okay, well, here's the plate. Got the plate.
Oh,
platter.
that's lovely.
Oh, this is nice.
What do you think? Is that lovely?
Silver
It's wet enough?
I'm going to set that down. Now, do you want me to just tilt the plate and you slide off, or should I take a butter knife here and scoop you?
Sure. Well, I mean, I can affect movement.
Okay.
I am not helpless.
I'm just going to
set it down next to me.
I don't want to actually touch you because it would just be too much temptation.
All right. Well, I'll just slither here. Just give me a moment. Take some time.
It sounds so appetizing.
And there you go.
Oh, nice. I'll get rid of that other plate.
I like to be a little off center. I think that's a better presentation.
That's good. Oh, it's perfect. Also, do you mind? I have this little name tag I made for you that says "Don't eat me, I'm poison." Do you mind if I just put that on you?
No, I would love to have that name tag. I should have that name tag for myself.
There you go, right there in the center. It was in the center of you, but you kind of move around a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good for here, but I think if you were on Culinaria, that would give away the game.
True.
No, you don't want to give away your secret power.
Have you tried some diplomatic methods?
Well, that's primarily what my mission is about. I am visiting different worlds, looking for allies. The problem we're coming across is that there are very few sentient beings that are completely made out of vegan material.
No, certainly not.
We are not.
Almost everyone has meat.
Yes.
And they are very, they do not have very much sympathy for us.
Meat's meat, and beings have to eat. That's a side thought. That's just a side thought.
Well, they can eat each other.
Oh.
True. You know what? Maybe that's what you should be doing. Instead of enlisting people to help you, maybe just get them to not like the culinarians and attack them and leaving you out of the mix and letting other people, just like the rich people eating you and stabbing you with the fork at the last moment, and the actual hunters are doing all the work, Get these other people to do all the work for you, kill the culinarians, and then you come in at the end and claim it.
So, eat the Epicureans. You think we should organize a taste and invite people to come and hunt down the Epicureans?
Yes.
That is a wonderful idea.
Give them a taste of their own medicine.
It would be turning the lazy Susan on them.
My whole planet would be united in that effort.
I think so. You hoist them on their own petard, and then you turn it into a spit. If you can turn the petard into a spit, that's something. That's technology. That's some kind of technology for you people, scientists, to figure out.
I don't know if you would consider this barbaric, but I've always wanted some meatballs.
Oh,
I feel like that would be a good thing to have with me at all times, would be some meatballs.
One person's barbaric is another person's barbecued meatballs, if you ask me.
no, yeah, barbarism and barbecue sometimes are just milli-inches apart. I've ordered some meatballs for you, by the way. They're coming.
Here's the thing: if you ordered pasta with meatballs,
Yes,
what do you eat first?
I like to mix it all together. That's me.
Horatio chops it all up.
I'm very egalitarian in that way.
Yeah, he doesn't play favorites. He just chops it up,
No.
mixes it together, lifts up the plate, tilts it, and it all slides right in.
And then there's lots of slurp as the different noodles go in. I'm sure that would seem barbarous to you, though.
Well, it depends on if you're eating a pastavarian or just a pasta dish from another planet.
Oh, that's right. Well, I would not eat a pastavarian. After
Right.
meeting you, I
Good.
just have too much respect.
You've gained Horatio's respect
Yes, yes.
to not be eaten. That takes some doing, because I've seen this man hungry, and he's fairly unstoppable when he gets going.
Well, then I have achieved something today. If you really get hungry, you could just take one of the meatballs, and then I know your intention, and I can escape.
And also, then you can enjoy one of the meatballs. You can see what that's like.
Mostly, I just want to hug them.
Hug the meatballs?
Yes, I would cuddle with the meatballs,
You want to hug a meatball?
snuggle up to them.
You know, I think there are places you can pay to do that. I'm backtracking, but I'm thinking about how you make the children.
Mm-hmm.
Again, recipe book. Is there baking involved?
Sometimes.
Do other family members take part, or is this something that's just for the two parents?
Well, we don't know exactly how we evolved, but we have many guesses. The first species of sentient dishes were really just things you could just sort of throw together, right? So salads, soups, stews.
Sandwich.
Sandwich was a late evolution. Came after the reptilians.
Oh, fascinating. Oh, I think, and it seems like it would evolve the other way, but that's fascinating.
No. The reptilians are just rolling around on the ground and then
That's true.
roll themselves up in a leaf, at first. The sandwich-topians are architects, really, because there's multiple layers. If you put things in a different order, you're going to get different abilities and different skills. It's sometimes it's very sad. A sandwich, things were created in the wrong order.
Right.
It just falls apart.
Oh, terrible. It just falls apart. Have you ever thought about using toothpicks?
Aha. I will bring that back. I don't think that is something that we...
What are you talking? You're talking about self-impaling themselves. You'd be impaling them on a toothpick. That's...
Let me just take a moment and say that Trellis is from a world where they constantly change their appearances with surgery and things. So, I don't know, Trellis. Seems like you're pot culling the kettle.
Under anesthesia. I don't feel it. Aldente, I'm surprised you're not a little flummoxed or angry here and ready to go after Horatio for this suggestion.
I mean, is it any more barbarous than what some species do to their children's wee-wees and pee-pees?
Oh, he's got a good point. They do stick toothpicks into those in many cultures.
I mean, this is the equivalent of giving your child an earring, which is painful for a moment, but, they quickly forget it.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, fine. I'm the weird one then. I'm the weird one.
Yeah, well, I think we established that, Trellis.
Never let it be said I don't bring ideas to the table, though, okay?
Oh no, you definitely do bring ideas.
Even if they don't get taken or eaten, if you will. I'm a contributor. I contribute.
A bit of an influencer.
The weird thing about the Sandwichians, in recent years, there's been quite a few offshoots.
Oh.
And lots of arguments about whether these offshoots are actually still sandwich-topians or not.
Oh no. Oh.
There's a whole offshoot of built on sort of a crunchy pastry shell that's open on one side.
That sounds delicious.
They claim that they are sandwichians, and everyone else is like, no, you're tacopians, and that's just who you are.
What is death
Oh.
for the people on your planet? If you had no natural predators other than obviously the culinarians coming in,
Yes, yes.
eventually, do you just go rotten?
Sometimes people go rotten. Sometimes people just kind of fall apart. I mean, you know, it's a sad day when you see a sandwich. They just disintegrate. It's
And it's all just dry. Just the bread part just dries out. And
it
crumbles.
just feeds the next generation.
Well, that's lovely.
It really depends. You know, there's brothlings who have been around for centuries.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just they find themselves in a little tiny crater in a hot spring, and they could be there for centuries.
I would imagine their biggest fear is evaporation.
True. That's why they're constantly refreshed by the hot springs. So,
Do you ever? And this is metaphorically. Does anyone ever just get pushed to the back of the fridge and forgotten?
it has happened. Sometimes people will seal themselves up in a very airtight container
Oh yes.
in hopes to keep themselves alive for longer.
Oh,
But the problem with those is you need someone else to open them. You
Right.
can't open them from the inside.
No. You have to have a plan. You have to have that in your will or something like that. I guess living will.
That's right. So it does happen where someone will seal themselves up, put themselves in a safe, cold space, hoping to be awoken after the next taste festival, and they're just forgotten. No, the person who was supposed to unseal them gets rounded up in the massacre, and no one's there to let them out, and we discover them years later. It's horrible. It's horrific.
just two eyes floating.
It should have like living preparation steps or something like that. Just put that. I know. Put that on the outside of the container. Maybe steps for reawakening. Now, of course, someone has to be reminded to go there and check.
Right. But if you know how long they've been in there and what they are,
Set a timer.
yes.
Yeah, if you have a watch, set a timer or something like that. Maybe an update on your calendar or something like that. Unseal Uncle Phil or something like that.
That would be helpful.
Yes.
That wouldn't work for you, Horatio. There's no jar big enough that we could cram you into.
No. It would. Several containers. Leftovers for days, weeks, years. This has been delicious, wonderful.
You just said delicious again. You just said delicious again.
I did. I tried to stop myself.
Look at
but
the
it
name
has
tag.
been-
Look at the name tag, Horatio.
I am poison. Do not eat me. I am
Exactly.
poison. Do not eat
Just
me.
keep
I am
saying it.
poison.
Because we're trying to help. We're trying to help Aldente here, not eat him.
You're welcome to one of the meatballs.
Oh,
That's what it's there for.
Oh, I'll definitely take one of those. I'm gonna eat it while looking at you.
this is like one of those lizards. The tail detaches when a predator goes to grab it, and it can escape off into the wild. This meatball is your tail. So go live in the now, Horatio. Here it is.
Oh, I'm living in the now.
I hope the word should be out now over the Subetha. And again, I like the change in tactics.
Yes, please join us next year.
Your own taste of culinarian.
Yes,
Send us some recipes of the culinarian.
I would love to.
They look tasty. Look, if you want a massacre, have Horatio start eating some of them.
Oh yes, I will. I am at your service. At your service.
Very beefy, marbleized, very
Exactly.
fatty and marbleized.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm there. I am so there.
He'll take out a few cities, I would think. Gigantic, roaming through the streets, people running in fear, right into your arms to prepare them and plate them, and then give them to Horatio.
I cannot wait.
They will be singing songs of me.
Yes.
I'll be burping. They'll be singing songs.
What should we put for the entry today, Horatio?
Oh my. Let's see. I'm looking through my notes.
Gastroterran, or Aldente, would you like your own personal entry?
Oh yes. You want it for your planet or for you?
Well, I mean, I would be honored if it was about me.
How about Aldente Pomo, viva la resistance.
Oh, perfect. I like that. Join the resistance.
Come for the taste, eat the culinarians. I like that. Okay. I'm going to hit submit. Submitted. Well, thank you so much, Aldente. This has been very enlightening. I didn't think I would ever meet a prepared dish that was sentient that I cannot eat.
I didn't think I would meet a sentient dish that I didn't accidentally eat.
I was able to maintain. I'm not gonna lie. You made my stomach grumble a little bit, but I have far more self-control than Horatio does.
Oh, infinitely more.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Try not to poison anyone on the way out, hopefully, and then please, as soon as you can, send us these recipes.
Will do.
Do not eat, I am poison. Do not eat, I am poison. So delicious.
Thank you for joining us for Hitchhikers and Appetizers. And of course, special thanks goes to our guest Aldente Pomo. I have been Trellis Gardeen.
And I continue to be Horatio Zinn. Until next time, keep your towels clean. And if that egg you're leaning over ejects a creature that attaches itself to your face, it's just giving you a welcome hug, not implanting an embryo that will eventually burst from your chest, killing you. So don't panic. Everything you heard in this episode was improvised, but not everything improvised was heard. This episode of Hitchhikers and Appetizers featured the voice talents of Mike Gorgone as Trellis Gardeen, Bran Peacock as Horatio Zinn, and Kevin Mullaney as Aldente Pomo. Finally, Hitchhikers and Appetizers is part of the Improv in Action Network. Check out other great improvised podcasts and projects at improvinaction.com. If you'd like to reach out to Trellis or Horatio, you can send electronic messages to them at our Galaxy address, hitchappspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can find them on Twitter with the handle hitchapps.
And before you go, we here at Hitchhikers and Appetizers would like to announce that we're now a featured podcast on Newsly. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up the most trending articles on the web on topics you choose at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing. Stop scrolling, start listening. You can follow any topic, as specific as you like. From sports, tech, business, science, Bitcoin, or even the Kardashians. We here at Hitchhikers and Appetizers won't judge you. To your face, at least. Newsly will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud. And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. As mentioned earlier, our podcast is there too. I started using it as my default podcast app. They even have digital radio. Download and use Newsly for free now from www.newsly.me or from the link in this episode's description, and use the promo code ZERS, ZERS, to receive a 1-month free premium subscription. 1 month is better than no months, I always say, and I'm Trellis Gardeen.
Shut up and sit down.